In the last video, we were able to set up a database connection pool, and we were able to set a custom parser to pass our array data type to a JavaScript array data type. Okay, and I would like to emphasize it again that this OID, my own OID, is not going to be the same as your own OID. So you actually need to run this query against your database after creating your tables and data type and all that. After running your migration file and creating your table, you need to run this query against your database to get your own OID. All right, so your OID is going to be different from mine. So I'm just going to paste the query here so that you can as well just look at the query from there and run it against your database to get your own OID. All right, so in this video we are going to be setting up our email transporter, the transporter that we'll be using to send email to our users whenever our user is creating an account. And after this video, the next thing is we are going to be creating the actual user account. You know, all of this we'll be doing is we are making preparations towards creating a user account. We need the database, we need our database connection pool, and we also need to send email during the creation of accounts. So all of these are to prepare us towards creating the accounts. And after now, we'll be creating the accounts. All right, so to create our email transport, actually this video will be divided into two. The first part is to create the transporter, and the second part is to create an app password that we'll be using to send emails. All right, we'll be using, you can use your own Gmail account. I'll be using my own Gmail account to send the mail just for test. In production, you can use any email provider service of your choice. You can use Mailgun. There are so many service provider. All right, so you can use any of them. You can use Twilio, you can use any email service provider, but for this project we'll just be using our own personal Gmail. All right, so we'll be creating an app password that our app will be able to use to access our account to send email to our users. All right, so the first part now is to create a node mailer transporter. All right, so we're going to go into this lib folder, then we're going to create a file. We are going to call the file email transporter.ts. all right, and first off we're going to be importing the server only package just to make sure that is checking our work for us not to import a server side function into the client side. So we're going to import node mailer from node mailer. All right, so that is the package that we'll be using to send our email. Okay, so here we're going to create the transporter. So we're going to say create transporter. All right, so to create that, I'm going to have a variable with the name of transporter. All right, and let me get rid of this backslash. So our transporter is going to be of data type transporter. This data type is coming from node mailer. Okay, just to indicate that this is type, so we can just give it type. All right, so this is going to be node mailer. All right, dot create transport. Okay, so inside of this function or this method, we are going to be providing email credentials. Okay, so this is going to be service, and normally we'll be using Gmail. Okay, we'll be using Gmail. You can use Yahoo Mail, but for this project and for what I'll be using Gmail. And the app password we'll be creating it with Gmail. So if you are going to be using a different email service, possibly Yahoo, then you are going to take on the responsibility of looking at how to create an app password of Yahoo email service provider. So this service we'll be using is going to be Gmail, but we'll not be hard coding this. We'll be providing that as an environment variable. Okay, so we're going to say env dot, I'm going to call this smtp host. That is going to be the name of our environment variable. We've not provided that, so we'll be providing that after creating this env server, let's just call this env. Okay, you can as well leave it as env server, but I prefer it as env. Right, you can see now we have this error: property smtp host does not exist on type. Okay, so these are the current properties in our Zod schema. Okay, so it is giving us error outrightly that we don't have this in our defined schema. Okay, so we'll be doing that after now. Okay, now we are going to have auth. Okay, auth, this is where we are going to provide the credentials of our email account. Okay, so inside of that we are going to have the user, which is going to be your Gmail, and that is for mine. This is what I'll be using, but I'm not going to be hard coding. I'm not going to be hard coding this. I'll be providing this as an env variable. Okay, so it's going to be like this, while this one is going to be Gmail. Right, I'm not going to be hard coding this. I'm going to have env dot, I'm going to call it smtp user. All right, that's going to be the name of my variable, and after the user we're going to have the password. Okay, and that is going to be the app password that we're going to generate. Okay, so you are not going to be writing your own account password. Whatever you use as your email password, you are not going to be using that. We are going to generate an app password. Okay, so that app password, we are only going to use it for this project, so that this project will be able to send email to our users through the app password. All right, so now we need to just verify that our transporter is actually working. So here we are. Okay, let me add the comment here, and I'm going to say verify transporter connection. Okay, so that right away when this module is being loaded, then the connection is going to be verified. All right, so we have a transporter dot verify. This one it's actually not necessary, and it is not compulsory. Okay, so it is just to verify that our transporter is able to establish a connection to our email service provider. All right, so inside of this place we are going to console log. So we have console.log, then we are going to say email. All right, I'm going to say email transporter is ready. Transporter is ready. Okay, and if the connection is not successful, then we are going to have catch. So it's going to catch any possible error that might occur. Okay, so here we are going to say error. Okay, so the error that we caught. Okay, and then we are going to have console dot error. Okay, and then we are going to say error with email transporter, so that we know right away if our connection has been established or not. Okay, so we're just going to pass the error as the second argument to our console. Okay, so this is going to verify if the connection is actually successful. All right, and after that we need to export our transporter so that we can use it in any part of our program. So we're going to export default, right, and then we're going to have transporter. Okay, transporter. So this is all we need to do. Now what we need to do now is to create our app password, and to also add all these necessary details in our env file. Okay, so we are going to open our .env file. All right, so okay, so after this we're going to have our email credentials. So let's go to our .env.example, which I used to collect. Okay, this is it here. So all right, so this is the email credentials. All right, so I'm just going to copy this now, then I'm going to paste it here. All right, email credentials for NodeMailer. You can use any of your choice. Okay, so all right, just like I said, our host will be Gmail, which we'll be using for this project. You can use any one of your choice. All right, this is just comments. You can get rid of that. All right, and this is password. This is user. Okay, so this is going to be your Gmail. Let me just copy this from here. This is the one I'll be using. All right, you use your own Gmail. Okay, so this app password, now we need to create this. And let me note this, okay, a note of warning. After creating your app password, make sure a third party does not have access to your app password. And in other words, don't show your app password to any other person, because anybody that gets your app password can send email through your email account. The person can access your account. This is just, it is synonymous to your normal email password. Okay, so after creating this, make sure you keep your app password safe and you do not give it to a third party, because anybody with your app password can access your email account. All right, so to set up the Google app password, I'm going to go to my account here. All right, manage your account. Okay, and to create an app password, before you can create an app password, you must have set up two-factor authentication for your email account. If you haven't set up a two-factor authentication for your email account, you will not be able to set up an app password. So if you don't have two-factor authentication for your account, first go ahead and set up your two-factor authentication. All right, and after setting it up, then you can now proceed from there. So to set up app password, we are just going to search for it here. So app password, all right. Okay, and just like I said, if you haven't set up a 2FA for your account, you are not going to have this result, right? So first set up 2FA and then you come to search for app password there. So you click on this. It's actually very easy. So you are going to provide your password, okay, so that Google will actually know that it is you that is trying to create an app password. Okay, so you are going to provide a name for your app password. I'm going to say test authentication flow, because I'm actually going to delete this after now. Right, anybody with this password can access my account. All right, so after this video, I'm going to delete this test authentication flow. Okay, so I'm going to create now. Okay, and immediately you created your app password, you should copy it, because after now you will not have access to it. You cannot see it again after now, but it will actually be tied to your account. But after now, you are not going to see it. The only thing you can do after now is to delete it, but you cannot see it again. So you should copy it and then you click on done. All right, so the app password now has been created. Okay, if I want to delete it now, I'm just going to click on this, which I'm going to actually delete after this video. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to set it up in the project. Okay, so you are going to paste your app password here. All right, and then you are good to go. Okay, don't bother trying to use this, because by the time you are watching this video, it would have been long deleted. All right, and in that case, I'll be using, after for further testing of our project, I'll be using a different app password that you will not be able to see. So in other words, I won't be opening this env file again till the end of this project, so that you will not be able to see my app password. Okay, so now we are going to go to our env server. We need to set up our SMTP host. Okay, so we are going to go into our schema. All right, we can add the comments here. So we're going to say email credentials, or let's just leave it as email. Okay, so here we're going to have a SMTP _ host. Okay, and that is going to be z dot, it's going to be of data type string. Okay, and at least you must have a minimum of 1 character. All right, so after that, we are going to have SMTP user. Okay, so this one is also going to be z.string. Okay, and it's going to be of the data type email. It must be a valid email. Okay, and then after that, we need the passwords. We are going to call it SMTP password. All right, you can as well call it pass, but we called it here we called it password there. Okay, so we are going to, okay, in our env schema, going to have password. Okay, so we have z.string. Okay, and it must have a minimum of 1 character. All right, so we're going to save that. Now you can see that the error we have here is gone. Okay, so what do we have? Invalid SMTP user. All right, So what is the problem with our env? I'm going to check my env. Oh, I've closed it. Okay, env. Oh, sorry, you can see. So we have our data validated immediately right away. So assuming we are not using TypeScript and we are not doing check here, so that means we are just going to proceed with our project, and at the end of the day we'll be debugging what should not be necessary, what is not necessary. Okay, so now we are good with setting up our email service. Okay, and concerning our database, I'm just going to I'm going to cut out the import we did in our day out. This import to run our database migration, I'm just going to put it in this DB file so that we have separation of concerns. Anything that has to do with DB, we just do it here. Okay, so I'm just going to put it in this db.file so that we know that everything that has to do with DB is happening there. And since you can as well leave it like this, but since we already created all the tables we needed, we can just comment this out so that the migration file is not being executed over and over again. Even though if you are executing it, there is no harm in that, because since you left it in up direction, it is not going to rerun the same migration file more than once. Okay, so you are safe. Even if you leave it uncommented, you are safe. But I'm just going to comment it out so that that part of the program does not keep running. Okay, so that will be all for this video. In the next video, we now start creating our user account and saving it in the database. All right, don't forget to like this video and please subscribe to the channel. All right, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.